Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. Before we get into the Celtic news, I want to talk about the interview yesterday. I've watched the interview this morning from Benjamin Negrin, for Benji Negrin, and it was an interesting interview. I'm going to give you my insights into it. First of all, he was calm. He wasn't emotional, wasn't dramatic, wasn't making excuses. He didn't overhype the win against Aberdeen, which, he's not saying it was a one-off result. The Aberdeen game, he says it was a massive win. He said he admitted himself it was a massive win, not because of the scoreline, not because of the pressure was lifted on the manager, but because of the performance and the chances that were created in the game. He says that the players feel that, he basically said that the players feel that they are going in the right direction under the manager, reading between the lines. He says it's important that mirrors the manager's message word for word, but the process and the mindset of what the manager is trying to install, the players aren't panicking about finishing. He was obviously asked about that, and it seems to be the ongoing thing because Celtic created 31 chances in their last game and they couldn't finish in a brothel. And the media kind of pounced on that. He says that the players aren't panicking about finishing. They trust the system, and they believe that the goals will come naturally to the game. He says, like other games had chances too. The difference between conversion is not structure. It's not the structure of the way that the manager's trying to get us playing. It's not the structure of the team. It's just putting the ball in the back of the net, and that will come then. He feels that the players will naturally start scoring a lot of goals. And somebody said on the live last night, there's going to be one of these days that we're going to give someone an absolute tanking in the league. And the Livingston manager said yesterday in his press conference that he couldn't think that he's thinking that we've now getting Celtic maybe the worst time ever, because Celtic are starting to look like Celtic. Never mind, it's starting to look a lot like Christmas. Celtic are starting to look a lot like Celtic. And that's maybe a good thing, because it's good to get that validation from another manager, someone else that's in the professional game, not just us in the Celtic fan base talking about it. Talking about the 4 defeats, as we all know, he said it was very difficult. It was unfamiliar territory for Celtic, and it was emotionally very tough on the players. But that's behind us now. There's no bitterness, there's no finger pointing, there's no blame. They stayed together, they trained hard, and they focused on the controllables, and that was trying to create chances in games. And I think that we're starting to see the turnaround of it. But Wilfred Nancy is not out the woods, let's be honest. I mean, the comments last night, I seen a lot of the comments last night, a lot of the fans are still, they're not overly convinced. One interview, as good as that interview was from the manager yesterday, one interview doesn't change a season. But what I think it does is gives us a starting point. It gives us a new, fresh impetus. It gives us the real Wilfred Nancy. I think he's been very defensive over the last couple of weeks, especially the way that the results were going. And the negativity was obviously DEFCON 9. But when you seen that interview yesterday with the manager, and he was more relaxed and he was smiling and it was all a bit happier in the camp, and he's starting to see the way that he wants the players to play. And the players, well, after 4 straight defeats, media pressure, fan unrest, the players trust each other. They believe that they belong at Celtic. They have the mental resilience to play at Celtic. They've got the championship winning mentality back in the club, it seems to be. The manager system, there's been a few tactical tweaks. People are obsessed with formation, and the players just get on with it. Football is football, he said. It's 11 versus 11. Players move regardless of shape. This isn't ignorance, it's experience. He said tactics matter, but mentally and execution matter more, which is interesting. and asked about his position and where he thinks he could play. Asked about playing the 10 and playing the 8. He says he doesn't care about a label. He values movement and influence on the pitch, operating behind a striker, linking up play. Doesn't matter, finding space. That's what he's all about. Fits perfectly with sort of Wilfred Nancy's look at players. I think that we've all got a bit, what the fuck is he doing? He's playing people out. We're in the Brendan Rodgers. I think that fans are very much in the Ange Postecoglou. We've all been wanting change, but we've all been very, oh, wait a minute, he's playing players out of position. Players will play in any position that they feel comfortable in. And I think that if we'd got the right results from the start, I think that people would be calling Wilfred Nancy an absolute miracle worker. But because we didn't get the right results, and we're all thinking, you know, he's that was 2 days ago, mate. There's no hangover today. It's all right for a hangover. But yeah, I think as fans, you know, we only see the manager putting players into different positions, and we're thinking, what is he doing? Without fully understanding what he's trying to achieve at the club. And I think that the players seem to be, you know, the fact that they're fluid in their roles, they're interchangeable. You know, they can move around the pitch a lot easier. The attacking side of the game, according to Benji, he says he loves attacking football. He says we're creating more chances, and that's what football should be. Scoring goals is the joy of the game. Well, we need to start scoring more. But if we do start getting back to the Celtic way under Wilfred Nancy, and we do start to score 4 goals per game, I'm sure that the disgruntled fans that still believe that, you know, maybe it is time for, you know, he is one defeat away from all out meltdown at the club. I think that the players know that, and it's very obvious that the manager knows that, and he wants to just get the players achieving what they can achieve, and hopefully, you know, it's a risk to take that the manager, although Benji says he's not just talk, he does instill a lot of things into our game. Talking about Livingston, Benji Negrin says that he doesn't dismiss them. He calls it important, like all games. The focus remains on winning and not form tables. It's just all about winning. It's not about how many games you've lost in the past, who had bad games. The players aren't even thinking about that. When they step onto the pitch against Livingston, they're only going to be focused on one thing, and that's winning, which is good to hear. Talking about Hearts and the title race and the quiet ruthlessness of Hearts, he said, "We will hunt them down. We will hunt them down." Some missiles in the sky. But anyway, the fact that he says, look, he delivered a calm interview saying that we will hunt Hearts down. That's confidence. And that's confidence that I think has never wavered within the players. You know, there's been a lot to take in over the last 4 weeks. And if this is, I'm going to put a big if there, if this is the turning of the corner for Wilfred Nancy, um, we'll talk about transfers in a minute. There was another one. If we drop points against Livy and Motherwell, it will be bedlam. Oh, said the Highlanders 67. Yeah, and I think that we all know that. But I think also, I think that we know that the manager, and you can only go on what the manager said in his interview, and it was maybe the best interview that we've had with him yet. Do you know, he was a bit like a rabbit in the headlights in the first couple of weeks. It's like, Jesus. And everyone's going, this club's too big for him. This job's too big for him. But it'll be interesting to see what a lot of people thought after the interview yesterday. But anyway, talking about Benji Negrin, do you know there was a tactical understanding and a competitive hunger still at the club? There is total alignment with the manager. And I think going forward, Wilfred Nancy may have just turned the corner in his Celtic career, because it looks like that the players. I mean, I thought a lot of us from the outside looking in were thinking that he's lost the dressing room already. But that's just us. That's not coming from the dressing room. There's nothing coming out from players dismissing the manager in the media. There's no players coming out on social media like there was under Brendan Rodgers. You know, putting little sly things up on social media. That all happened under Brendan Rodgers. We saw players that were putting stuff up on social media, and then they were gone from the club. There was discontent within the dressing room. I don't think that there is really a discontent in the dressing room. People know that players will move, and the manager knows that players will move. And there's one player that the manager hopes and prays that doesn't leave this transfer window, and that is Dyson Maeda. I think that if he can, if he does stay, I mean, I think it's still up in the air. I don't think that there's anything. If a bid comes in for him and the player wants to go, the player will go. Wilfred Nancy says, look, he's really happy here. He is really happy. I knew that he had the opportunity to leave before, but for the moment, he's with us and he's happy to be here, Nancy says. We'd like to keep him, and he knows that. So I hope that he's going to stay. I hope. I still think that Dyson Maeda will move in the next window. I just don't want it to happen towards the end of the window. So it puts us in a position where we're if Celtic have an inclination that he's going to move this window or next window, they should be really trying to get in a replacement for Dyson Maeda now. Especially with a couple of players being away at the African Nations Cup. One player that looks like he may still move is obviously Yang. It looks as if he still might move to Birmingham, but there's talk of Chris Davies. You remember him, Brendan's number 2, his first time at Celtic, who is the Birmingham manager. There's talk of Chris Davies being sacked by Birmingham City after they had a heavy loss to Sheffield United. So will that put a spanner in the works of Yang leaving Celtic? Will we be left with Yang by default? You get what you get from Yang. He's not the answer, let's face it. But if Chris Davies does get the sack, will he then go, I don't really care because I'm going over to Saudi with my old mate? But the fact that John Kennedy is his number 2, will that have just cut ties with Brendan Rodgers? So it'll be interesting to see that he is subject of sack talk. Interesting. Anyway, the fact that Wilfred Nancy is not out the woods yet, the Celtic fans, even though that we won 3-1 over Aberdeen, it could have been 5, 6, 7, 8, it could have been 9. Let's face it. Has it stopped the rot, or has it just put a pause? I think it's just, I'll be honest, and I hope it has stopped the rot, but I also know that the Celtic fans will have got their foot on the clutch pedal, just waiting to ramp up the Nancy get the fuck scenario again. But it's Christmas, and it's all about giving, and it's all about being happy, and it's about not having any negativity in your life. So as we go into Christmas, it is Christmas Eve, and as we go into Christmas Day, even though Celtic have been linked with a 17-year-old defender and Vinnie Leonard, Celtic are looking to bring him in as soon as he turns 18. And then loan him back to the club in Ireland. It's a bit like the Johnny Kenny type scenario. We do need younger players at the club. The academy is in complete ruin, shambles. Previous managers have neglected the academy, to say the least. But anyway, all I want to do now is wish every single one of you a Merry Christmas. Have a fantastic day tomorrow. I think there will be a video that goes out at around about 3 o'clock Celtic Park time tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that, and have a fantastic day wherever you are, because it is all about, it's only one day. It's a Sunday roast with sprouts. I don't even like sprouts. But I'll not be having a Sunday roast with sprouts. Thank you to everyone who's watched the channel over this Christmas period. Stephen Johnson's come in with a come out you little elves and give Santa a big thumbs up. Oh, thank you, Stephen Johnson. You're one of the most amazing guys on this channel. I will be live again at 8 p.m. tonight, Celtic part time, where we can have a more relaxed chat about Celtic. And I think that we'll just have a chat about the last year and the highs and the lows. We'll do that tonight, 8 o'clock Celtic part time. We'll talk about the highs that we had at the beginning of the year when we were in the Champions League, and there was a slight possibility that we could have got into the top 16. We definitely got into the playoffs, and we took a top German side most of the game. We were competed. And then what happened since then? Well, we all know the story. Let's reminisce about it tonight, and let's talk about our hopes for the future of Celtic going into 2026. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and notifications. We are on our road to 25,000. We're a couple of hundred off, but we are getting there. Thank you to you for watching right to the end. Yeah, you, because you're amazing.